All right, glad to have you back. The Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, has assured the Lake Chad Basin Commission of Nigeria's unflagging commitment to supporting the restoration of Lake Chad in order to pull the region back from a major economic, social and ecological disaster.
Yeah, Osinbajo disclosed this at the International Conference on Saving the Lake Chad, which held in Abuja. State House correspondent Maria Olaseyinde reports now.
Chad is about 8% of the size of Africa and is shared by Algeria, Cameroon, the Central African Republic, Chad, Libya, Nigeria, Niger, and Sudan. President Muhammadu Buhari has lent his support to the resuscitation of the Lake Chad, which is evident in the hosting of this conference. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who represents his boss here, says concrete steps must be taken to secure the Lake Chad from extinction in the shortest possible time.
The cooperation and collaboration that underpins the efforts to save the Lake Chad must not be allowed to flag. The world will pay a steep price if stakeholders choose to resort to unilateral actions and the pursuit of selfish interests if we collectively fail to rise boldly to this challenge.
Osinbajo also commends the international community for not only seeing the Lake Chad Basin issue as a challenge with global implications, but also taking steps to actively support the efforts of the member countries of the Lake Chad Basin Commission.
Saving the Lake Chad is pulling our region back from a major economic, social, and ecological disaster. Saving the Lake Chad is restoring and preserving the livelihoods of millions, but perhaps more importantly, preserving a resource that will be crucial to the economic sustenance and security of the fastest growing population in the world.
It is important to note that saving the Lake Chad in a sustainable manner is a task which requires the collaboration of all relevant stakeholders. Therefore, all hands must be on deck to save the lake from extinction.
UNESCO's International Hydrological Program will support Chad, Cameroon, and Nigeria in integrating the African Flood and Drought Monitor System to ensure more agile coping mechanisms for seasonal variations. This will build on the work that we are already doing through the International Hydrological Program at the Regional Center in Kaduna in Nigeria to deepen our understanding of the aquifers of the basin.
Saving and restoring the Lake Chad from dwindling is the essence of this conference. All stakeholders involved have been urged to work collectively in ensuring they overcome the challenges confronting the Lake Chad Basin Commission. Maria Olaseyinde, TVC News, Abuja.
All right, that's the foundation to our discussion now. We still have with us Chris Kehinde-Nwandu with us, a journalist and a commentator on this right now. Chris, growing up, we used to hear so much about the Lake Chad, and it used to be the pride of so many other countries, and we are Nigerians, so we used to be proud of Lake Chad, the beauty of Lake Chad, the benefits of Lake Chad, and all of that. But over the years, all of that dwindled, and we'd never heard of, or we don't really hear of the benefits and the beauties of Lake Chad anymore.
Yeah. First and foremost, I feel that the problems are with also the various countries involved having their own internal problems, economically, politically, socially, and otherwise, that those African regions surrounding the Lake Chad had their hands full, that they had little or no time to realize that we're having serious issue with that. Then coupled with, during nowadays, we didn't hear about climate change. You remember when we grew up? There was not like climate change. The issue
the weather was so
predictable. In fact, in those days, I remember when we were kids, when it started raining, we quickly jumped out.
You knew the dates that the Harmattan was going to start.
Absolutely.
You remember that by November, we already started that we were in Christmas.
Exactly.
In fact, you don't even need to check the dates to know that you are already in Christmas. You get to the village from 15th. One of the reason why I like followed my parents to the village in those days, because when you get to you don't get to see enough harmattan in Lagos.
No.
When you get to the village, you will see natural harmattan. So the issue of climate change also came into play, and along the lines, so the lecture started shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, and before they realized it, the damage was almost done. And it's good that the various countries...
Well, by saying before they realized, because it's almost the same issue in Africa, especially with leadership, because just because of that statement. Because it wasn't something that happened, the shrinking of the Lake Chad, it wasn't something that happened overnight. It took years, even close to 40 years when it started. And this was noted and even, recorded. And then you wonder, why is the Lake Chad Basin Commission really not being proactive enough? Well, of course, some would say that it could be because of financial commitments and all that from some of the countries. But the point I'm trying to raise is, why usually does it take time, really, if something is not at a dire state? Somehow, African countries don't tend to want to solve the problem.
Let's even start from home, before even going to Africa. We used to have so many river basins in Nigeria. You remember very, very well. We used to have several river basins. That was, I think it started during I think it was created during the time of Shagari or so. I'm not too sure. Between 1979 and the rest of them, across the country. Go and start, it's a challenge now. Maybe we as journalists, we need to go and check how many of the river basin authorities are working. Recently, about a month ago, I was in Bauchi State. I was in Bauchi, I got to Jigawa, I also went to Gombe. And I saw the problem, okay? Some of the problems we are having, and with time, if care is not taken, we'll soon have food shortages, coupled with the problem we're having in Benue now. Okay, if we can't get food coming out of Benue, and some of these areas we are talking about are not getting, there's going to be food crisis, and I hope the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and that of Environment are doing something about it immediately and cross-checking that. So it is the will, is government. That is leadership. It's lack of leadership. That's what I'm saying. It's lack of leadership, either in Nigeria or the sub-region or Africa as a whole. We presently have serious issue concerning our maintenance culture. The problem has always been maintenance culture. If we know that a Lake Chad basin, a Lake Chad that has so much economic and social and positive effect for the region is growing, that will never happen in the Western world. Okay, if you go to the Western world, you see what is happening now. They are trying as much as possible to reclaim some of these basins, and also even those that are the very, very cold regions where you have now. If you watch Geographical Channel, you see what is happening with the eyes. You understand? They already are taking charge. Go straight to the beach further. If we go to to Saudi Arabia, to Dubai and the likes, countries that don't even have that volume of water, you see them creating artificial lakes and the rest of them. So why is it that we are finding it difficult to sustain our natural own lake? So that is the problem. I hope and believe that the meeting that was recently held, that was chaired by where the Vice President of Making, will be able to put action into some of these things, not just talk, because the problem we've always had, we have a robust discussion, we come for conferences and rest of them. At the end of it, nothing comes out of it.
In this case, because Lake Chad, cuts across so many countries
in Africa.
So when one country is committed to ensuring that let us save and ensure Lake Chad remains the way it is, and the other country does not,
that is what I'm saying.
We still have the same problem.
We have a serious problem.
But at the end, in the long run, like she said earlier, it has taken about 40 years, continuously shrinking. What will happen eventually, maybe in the next 30 years or another 40 years, and then we don't have Lake Chad again? What implication would it have?
It will have serious economic implication for us. Already, we have current statistics have that about over 70 million people stay around the Lake Chad region.
Farmers and fishermen.
Farmers and fishermen, their economic survival is at stake. And also, you know that Lake Chad also, the northeast is also a little part of this thing. That is where we are having the kind of problem we are having now.
I was about to mention that,
yes,
because we've understood that because of the shrinking of the Lake Chad, it's not going to, and if it continues, really, it won't just be an economic implication, but a security implication as well. Because most of these farmers and fishermen, according to our reports, were forced easily. No, we're not even forced. Some were easily, lured into joining terrorist
groups. That is why I was saying. I was telling you that security. That was why I said security, because I know the implication. I know most of them can no longer don't have their heads, cannot participate in fishing, and you know that the general saying we say, an idle hand is the devil's workshop. It's much easier for people to latch on that, and once they're able to provide them with some of the support they need, and you see them joining most of this terrorist group, they can be used and across that region.
And it seems to be it seems to be one of the major reasons for the friction between herdsmen and farmers.
That is why you're having the migration. That's why you're having the migration to the south and the north central, because grazing lands and the opportunities for them is no longer there. So, and most of the pastures they need are not there. So most of them have to now migrate from that and come into the hinterland where we have vegetation for the animals. And that is why having this conflicts we are having both in Benue, Adamawa, and rest, and even down to the south, because some of these things have to survive. So when we're talking about ranches, colonies, and the rest of them, there are more bigger problem we're having. If we can save the Lake Chad, some of this problem can be solved.
Well, the option being considered is that recharging the Lake Chad. We hope it is possible. Thank you very much for your analysis.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Chris. Thank you very much.